So lately with my golf, the phrase "time waits for no one" seems to be becoming very apt. So I'm going to hit a stock driver and talk you through how I can start finding some speed as I'm getting older. Okay, so a fairly solid strike. We can see my club head speed at 104 mile an hour, ball speed at 155, smash at 1.49. I've hit up 3 degrees, launched a little bit low at 9.5 degrees, spinning at 2,300, carrying at 248, rolling out 280. And yes, I know a lot of you out there are going to say, stop moaning, Ali, but 104 mile an hour, really? Over the last couple of years, I've toyed with a project called Project 300, trying to hit 300 through the air. And I nearly got there last summer, swinging at 115 mile an hour. Got a little injury, didn't get back in the gym, but definitely feel like over the last few months, I'm really starting to tail off. So swing looked very nice, produced some decent control, but we're gonna have a look on Swing Catalyst and see why I'm losing the speed, and most importantly, how I can get more speed back and help you guys start hitting driver longer than before. So you can see on the first swing here, lots more pressure on my left foot as opposed to my right foot. As the club moves back, my right foot's resisting, already shifting too early into that left side of my pressure, body already twisting into the ground, pushing into the ground too early, so just completely out of sync and costing me that speed. So I'm going to show you the 3 ways of creating that extra speed. One is moving our pressure side to side in the golf swing. One is twisting into the ground, which helps our body turn. And one is kind of pushing into the ground, which gets spoken a lot about nowadays, but isn't necessarily what everyone needs to do. So I'm going to do one swing with each and see which one picks up the most speed for me. Now, looking at the graph, I think it's obvious which one will pick up the most speed. Comment below now and let me know. And also comment and let me know through the video, are you enjoying seeing the little bit of information Swing Catalyst gives? So first one I'm going to work on is I'm going to try and shift more aggressively towards that target. So I know I shift nicely that way on the way back, shift nice and aggressively on the way down, and see how that affects my golf swing. Okay, so a little bit bottomy strike. So 104.8 club head speed, so a tiny little pickup on ball speed. Strike wasn't quite as good, but we saw there was a tiny change. Okay, so no change at address, but much more on the side to side movement now. Pushing off that left foot here much earlier, away from the target. Then my right foot putting the brakes on, resisting, and we can see the maximum change in direction is just as the club's about to change. So much more, 16% of my body pressure now shifting side to side. Then I get the twist much earlier. My push really early in my downswing. And that straight away contributed to a tiny pickup in speed. Now I know it sounds odd with driver talking about wanting to feel that you move that pressure much more towards the target. Because a lot of golfers feel like because I've got to stay behind the ball to hit up, it becomes counterproductive, but it doesn't. As you shift the pressure into that lead foot, the lead foot and leg put the brakes on, and that fires that. Now, one of my clients actually picked up 10 mile an hour, focused on being on more side to side with his pressure shift with his driver. You see for me, not a massive pickup there though, and no pickup in distance because the strike wasn't as good. So my next one is I'm going to try and twist into the ground. So I'm going to try and feel that on the way back, my right foot pushes towards the camera, left foot back, and then reverse that on the way around. So it's really going to feel like I'm almost trying to move the ground, move the mat. Now, this is a tough one for me, but I'll do it, and let's see what it picks up during my golf swing. So felt a solid strike. Again, just turn that one over a little bit. But we can see that one 106 mile an hour, 155 ball speed, so again, strike wasn't quite as good, smashed down at 1.46. I hit up 5 degrees, launch angle was a bit higher, and 256 carry and 279 total. Right, so now when I focus on that twist, not a lot different in the backswing. Just as I move, that right foot starts to resist early. The change of direction's in a better place now. Then my body twists into the ground, this yellow graph. That was only 126% of my body pressure before. It's now 150%, so much more aggressive. And then the push is a little bit late, so the energy not quite getting into the club head, but we saw a pickup. We saw more of a pickup with the twist than we did with the side to side. So we've seen out the two so far, the side to side made less difference than the trying to twist and get more torque into the ground. And that is absolutely what I see. Now I said before, we'll see which one usually picks up the most. It's definitely the push that seems my dominant source with the feedback from Swing Catalyst. And that's normally where I see that. So what I'm gonna try and feel is I get to the top, shift, my body will already twist, but I wanna feel very heavy on that left side and then almost get a little jump off the ground through impact. So let's try and get that jump. Let's try and maximize my push and see what I can squeeze out of my golf swing. But we can see 108 mile an hour club speed, ball speed just under 159, smash a little bit down, hitting up more at 5.2 degrees, launching better, spin rates jumped up, and then 256 and just under 270. So I know this is my dominant source now. So as we swing back, the shift isn't as aggressive as it could be, but it's decent. The twist is actually bigger now at 165%, even though I didn't think about it. The push is much bigger at 193% and much earlier before impact. And that allows that speed and that energy to get into the club head, and we can see the little jump away from the golf ball. So we can see nearly 4 mile an hour pickup, eking up towards that 160 ball speed, which I always say is kind of where I need to be at as a minimum for me. But definitely for me, we could see out the 3 movements, side to side, twisting into the ground, and push. Push is definitely the one that I get the most out of. And we could see the others, the twist particularly jumps up a little bit when I try and push into the ground a little bit harder. But everyone's different, and work through, try those shots, maybe more than one go obviously with each one, but see which one gets you swinging quicker and hitting it the furthest. So one last one, can I get 110, start back up, getting towards 300 yards seems a long way off at the moment, but would you guys like to see me back on track and talking through how I'm going to get from where I am to now? Is Project 300 restarting? But let's have one swing. Let's see if we can get to 110 club head speed and start that journey back. So again, felt a little bit low off the face. Only 108 mile an hour, 261 and 275. Can't finish on that one. Got to have one more. Let's get to 110. Definitely got 110 in me. Okay, so felt a better strike. Slower though. Ball speed at 157, smash at 1.46, 256 and 270 total. So even though I went for it with this last one, we didn't see the speed there. Good shift, more side to side shift. Twist was down. Push is bang in the right place, but not exaggerated enough. And we can see as I'm through there, the foot doesn't get off the ground, so I haven't worked hard enough. So guys, I appreciate you're not all going to get on something like this, but even just with those little thoughts and feelings that I spoke about there, find which one gets you swinging quicker, start your own project up. A couple of my clients are going for Project 200, 220, 250, whatever their next little goal is for carry. Give me some feedback. If you enjoyed today's video, remember, click and subscribe. Make sure you don't miss any of my stuff. See you all soon. And if you're watching just as this gets launched, have a great Christmas.